Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. We're going to continue answering questions from the jar, and once again, I'll ask you to forgive my speech. It's a little slurred, had a tooth removed, and I'm still a little swollen, and I'm having a hard time talking clearly. And as far as the beautiful necklace I have on, that's just because when I'm sitting in this position, I seem to compress the cervical vertebrae or the neck a little bit, so it helps me to keep it open. Anyway, that being said, let's get back to our reason why we're here. I pulled out a question from the jar. I'm going to read it briefly. Oh, it's a big one. That is encompassed in this body and mind we call me. We see the physicality of everything and think life is all about physicality and materialism. We have a hard time seeing beyond it to what life actually is, and we have to make sense of everything with this scientific validation and this conceptualization, using just a very limited part of this mind that we were given to experience life with. So when we say letting go, it's a hard term. What does it mean to let go? I mean, there is a analogy that Michael Singer often uses, and he used it in his book as well as many of his podcasts, about being in a tug-a-war with something on the other side. Life is doing something on one side. Maybe it's a bunch of people that you're opposed to. Maybe it's something in life that you don't want to have to deal with or accept. Or maybe it's, you know, whatever, an illness or something going on with the body. So you are clinging on one end, and the opposing factors are clinging on the other end, and you're pulling, and you're scraping your hands, and you're exhausting yourself, and you're struggling against this what isness is on the other side of that pile of mud. And, you hear something inside that says, just let go, just let go. And what does that just let go mean? It means letting go of the rope, just removing your grip, removing your clingingness, removing your grabbing, removing the struggling from this experience. And what happens when you remove the yourself from the rope? You don't fall forward into the mud. Other people will fall back and away from you. You become more and more detached to whatever that was pulling you, and towards that muddiness that you did not want to experience. So letting go is basically letting go to our resistance of what is, to whatever is showing up in our lives. It's surrendering. And surrendering doesn't mean giving up and, claiming failure and, giving up everything you own and like or who you are. It doesn't mean somebody else winning and you losing. It simply means choosing peace over whatever else is going on in your life, choosing the experience of peace. And the more we're clinging to that tug-of-war rope, more we're engaged in the struggle with something. Little me and what little me needs and wants. We stop feeding this ego that is the little me. We stop building this separate personality that we call me. We stop, living by it. Instead, we realize there's something deeper. Whatever that voice was that told us to let go is the deepest part of who we are, and it's actually who we are, and it's where the wisdom of our human experience exists. And so when we let go of the rope and let go of our attachment to this little me, what it's telling us to do, this little part of our mind that says, oh, you got to struggle, you got to fight, you don't want that in your life, that's going to cause more discomfort, or you want that, that's going to make you feel better, etc., instead of grasping and clinging and pushing away, we let go of our attachment to that voice, our attachment to that part of our mind that is egoic and telling us that we're separate little entities on this planet and we're vulnerable and at risk of everything around us, so we need to defend and attack. When we let go of that, we dip into something deeper and more real. And though it may not be something that we can understand with our conceptual minds or understand with our limited five senses and what they pick up, because it goes beyond those five senses to something that maybe we're not aware of, that the brain filters out as being too much extra for our minds to take in and our human beings to experience while we're traveling along this world. The brain is here the body is here, the nervous system is here to keep us alive in the physical world, and it's all it sees is physical, because that's the physicality of this human being we call ourselves. So it filters out maybe those extra senses, that extra phenomenon that we can't pick up. It only allows us to see what's physical and experience what's physical, because the other stuff is considered extra, and it's not necessary for physical survival. But it is necessary for our spiritual survival. And when we start to stop depending on the brain and stop depending on that part of our mind that is experiencing what the brain has filtered in, and start looking beyond that to the things that maybe we're not picking up with our five senses, or that we can't understand with these limited conceptual minds, that there's something deeper there, something more there, and we open up that door to it, then we're surrendering to something far greater than what the little mind can allow us to see, the little egoic mind can allow us to see, and we experience something greater and grander. So letting go is not only a part of removing struggle from our lives, or the so-called suffering, is not only a part of attaining peace of mind, it is a necessary part for our spiritual evolution and our growth. When we let go of this me that's in the way, standing in the way of us experiencing who we truly are, and experiencing those deeper realms of life that we cannot understand in the physical, and our physical attachment to things. So letting go is a sweet surrender to something deeper and more amazing, something that can take us further, something that can expand our awareness even greater. And it's a removal of our focus onto these little me's holding the rope. So by letting go of the rope, we too may fall back, and we may fall back into the arms of self with a capital S, into a truth that we are not aware of when we're struggling in the physicality of things, struggling physically with the things on the other side of that mud puddle. We let go into what is the felt experience of being a human being, the felt experience of being alive, the felt experience of, representing the divinity through this body and mind, and allowing it to experience life through us. It's an amazing field that we have yet to tap into, most of us, because we're so attached to the physicality. And as long as we're attached to physicality and this little idea of me as a separate personality, we're clinging to that rope, and we're struggling, and we're fighting, and we're craving, and we're pushing away. We're not feeling life. We're not being life. We are struggling and suffering. So when we hear that letting go phase, it simply means letting go to who we truly are, which is far greater than the struggling tug-a-war opponent, or the person holding the rope on this side of the mud line. Letting go is where truth can be found. Well, I hope that makes a lick of sense anyway. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have an amazing day. Namaste.